Sea tales are true boating stories. Please welcome our guest for that segment of the show, Mr. Chuck Stanton.
Thank you. Just so that you don't think I'm a loser completely, I've been sailing for about 25 years, and I've run aground a couple of times. I've had a boat fire. I've lost several sails overboard, things like that. All of them get chalked up to experience. The one I want to tell you about today is, I don't know how many people have been through a dismasting. It's something that it's hard to read about, get information on, and I can give you some first-hand experience. I've been through two of them. The one I want to tell you about is a race that I had on a 30-foot boat to Mexico about 8 years ago. And I had a crew of 6 on board. And these guys were all accomplished sailors. They all owned their own boats. And that was kind of fortunate because nobody panicked. We were racing about 4 or 5 hours out of Newport Beach, and about 10 miles outside of Oceanside, the wind started to pipe up. It was blowing about 20 to 30 knots, and my plan was to keep the boat with a full head of sail up. That was a spinnaker and a main, and a spinnaker staysail, until the boat was going out of control so much that we should take the spinnaker down and reduce sail. The reason for this, in a sailboat race, you want to keep the boat going as fast as you can, and all the other boats are doing it, so you more or less have to do the same thing. So we took a couple of knockdowns, which wasn't any big deal, and then one of the staysail wires on the bow let go, and I had to send somebody forward to take down a small jib up on the bow. So the 2 people that were working that were getting that sail down on deck, and it was my plan, as soon as they finished that task, that they would take down the spinnaker and we would set another head sail. About that time we took a knockdown, and they hung on, as we all do. The boat lays right down on the water. Lays right on its side in the water, then it rounds up and the sails fill away again, and off you go. This time when the boat rounded up and came up straight again for the sails to fill, one of the lazy sheets on the spinnaker somehow cleated itself, and so when the spinnaker filled, it filled with a resounding crash, a real shock to the boat, and the mast broke at the upper spreaders and then at the lower, and then it fell forward on top of one of the guys making sail on the foredeck. This pinned him to the deck. So at that point I had to determine how badly he was injured and who else was injured. He looked like he was in pretty bad shape because his torso was folded between his legs, and he couldn't get out from underneath the mast because the rig was now in the water, and it was held somewhat on the boat, and he was pinned underneath the mast. And there was a good chance that his back was broken. So what I did, in order to find out a lot of information about him right away, I just hollered, "Larry, crawl back to the cockpit." And at that point, fear kind of takes over, and he rolled out from underneath the mast, and he scrambled, and he started to crawl back towards me. I was in the cockpit with a couple of crew members, and the fact that he could crawl told me that his back wasn't broken. So when he got to the cockpit, I said, "You go below, and we'll take it from there." And he was able to do that. So I knew he may have had a sprained back, or his leg was pretty badly mauled up, but I knew I didn't have a real serious injury. The next thing to do, when the mast is down in the water, it's all tied to the boat by rigging. The standing rigging, the sheets and everything are holding the mast to the boat. So because the boat's rolling, the mast is now crashing into the side of the boat, trying to sink us. It's punching a hole through the side of the boat. So I was kind of short on equipment, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I want to tell you what I learned from this. We had a hacksaw on board, and we cut all the turnbuckles and we got all the sheets squared away. It seemed like it took forever, but it was about a half an hour to do this. In the meantime, the mast was punching a larger hole in the side of the boat. So we had everything cleared, and we held it for about 30 seconds while we made sure there weren't any halyards wrapped around the propeller or anything, and we cut that one line, and about $15,000 worth of equipment went right to the bottom. Some of the things I think, if you own a boat, that you should have on board. I didn't have a set of cable cutters. That would have been helpful. I have a set now. I have a good hacksaw with a good blade in it, because that can cut through a lot of stuff. I didn't put anybody in life jackets, which I should have done as soon as they started working on deck, because the boat was rolling, and because of the severity of the accident, they were in shock. I didn't realize it at the time, but as soon as we cleared the wreckage, everybody got sick. The entire crew got sick. Now, these were experienced sailors. They were coming out of the experience that we had. So I should have had life jackets on everybody, and I didn't do that. I didn't have the proper medical supplies on board. I had Band-Aids, and that was about it. But I didn't have any means of treating a serious injury.
I appreciate that, Chuck. We're out of time now. And I do thank you for coming on and sharing that with us. And we'll be back on another time, another show, and another topic. We hope the show does save lives and educate new boaters. Thank you for watching Captain's Log.